I worked every day for 26 years, including the day I got married. Every single day, from 1971 to 1997, I didn't take one day off. I'm always like this. I'm always pushing the edge of the envelope. And that's why, I'm an overnight success. It's about winning. And today's the first day of the rest of your life of learning how to win. Not some of the time, not most of the time, but all the time.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 for my top 10, top 10, 9. This one's for my top 10.
Need motivation?
Watch the Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So get ready to be a high-performing person 24/7, get serious, and stop caring what other people think with Dan Pena and my take on his top 10 rules of success to give you the confidence, motivation, and belief that you need. Enjoy. All right, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Be a high-performance person 24/7.
Being a high-performance person is a full-time job. Michael's known me over 20 years. I'm like this when I wake up in the morning to brush my teeth. I'm like this when I brush my teeth before I go to sleep. I'm like this 24/7, 365, and I've been like this for the better part of 50 years. I'm always like this. I'm always pushing the edge of the envelope. And that's why, I'm an overnight success. I've been coaching 25 and a half years, but all of a sudden I'm popular as hell, but I've been doing this for 50 years. I have the same habits today as I had 50 years ago. The exact same habits. But they're just ingrained in me. They're ingrained in me. And for those of you that have never been around the high-performance people like I just alluded to, the Warren Buffetts, Elon Musk, God rest his soul, Steve Jobs, who I happen to have known, they were like this 24/7, 365. It wasn't an act. Now, I know Michael's like this all the time, but he and I both know people that are considered gurus, that they have a stage face and they have their real face. They don't walk their talk. And part of being a high-performance person is walking your talk. Walking your talk.
Rule number 2, don't care what others think of you.
First cars on the planet were electric cars. And then 8, 10, 12 years later, petroleum, combustible engines were invented. And so if we wanted electric cars, we could have been developing, instead of the last 15 years, because Elon Musk stuck his foot up the ass of the automobile industry, we could have developed some really, tremendous automobiles based on electricity. But again, it's survival of the fittest. Now, they don't say sensitivity equals poverty, but you could see on the bottom, if it was there, sensitivity equals poverty vis-a-vis all these magnets, these guys. It just makes sense. There's no sensitivity in any shape, manner, or form of any of these guys. Now, what they don't say, but you can conjecture yourself, did they give a shit about anybody but themselves? No. And I'm going to just say this generically. And you care. Did they care what anybody said about them? No. If a newspaper said something bad, they bought the newspaper and sacked everybody. That's not in that film, but that's what happened. Did they care what anybody thought about them? No. And you can just go item by item from then till now. And if you even go back further till the Hun and Genghis Khan, those guys, they thought even less.
Rule number 3, implement I win instead of win-win.
I used to ask all these questions. How many of you believe in a win-win situation? And most of you would raise your hand, and I'd come around in the 90s and smack you. There is no win-win. It's I win, you lose, moron. Win-win scenarios are preached by losers. Do you think Donald Trump believes in win-win? Do you think Winston Churchill believed in win-win? Now we know Adolf Hitler and Mussolini and Stalin for sure didn't believe in win-win. You have connoted high performance with goodness. In some cases, it couldn't be farther from the truth. It's about winning. And that's today's the first day of the rest of your life of learning how to win-win. Not some of the time, not most of the time, but all the time.
Rule number 4, find your own motivation.
Nobody's ever had to motivate me in my whole life. Nobody ever had to motivate Steve Jobs in his whole life. Nobody ever had to motivate Henry Ford, the first, in his whole life. And I can go down the list of every single one. My experience for the people that are the most successful, the Hall of Famers, the billionaires that I've made like God out of clay, I didn't have to motivate them. So what does that tell you about? Forget this room. Let's say that you're an anomaly, this room. We know that's a lie, but I'm going to sound like the gurus, the guys that you followed heretofore, and lie to you a little. We know you don't need motivation, but what about those poor suckers that do need motivation? What did that say about them? Forget about it. Next. Nobody ever, my kids, our kids hate hearing this story, but still one of the guys that I work for on Wall Street, for a Wall Street firm, who says he gave me my first legitimate job, tells the kids, and he's the godfather to one of our children. He says, we used to have the security guards drag your father from the office and make him go home to sleep after 5-6 days straight. The security guards dragged me from the office. My kids hate hearing that. I used to take a sponge bath in the men's room and have my secretary go buy me a new shirt every day. And I used to have a proclivity of dropping shit on my ties, so I used to have to buy a lot of ties too. So then I realized if you buy dark ties, it doesn't show. You don't have to buy as many ties. But they had to drag me out of the office. I used to be able to go 2-3 days with no sleep. And I drank in all night. Guys, if you don't think you can all night, guess what? You can't all night. QLA is exactly the same. I can tell hardly anybody in this room has ever all night. But nobody's ever had to tune me up to get me to work hard.
Also, if you want to have more confidence and self-love, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
But no one does know initially, up front. You have to try. You have to swing at the plate. A kid like you, if you had to keep track of 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, what you do. You want people with a like mind and that are better than you, smarter than you, more intelligent than you to get on your bus.
Rule number 5, get serious.
Gallup did a poll in 2016, worldwide, 87.6% of all the people on the planet, 87.6% of all the people on the planet are unhappy. I'm going to say it again because I know these are Dutchmen, right? 87, we'll just round it off. 87% of everybody that walks the face of the earth, 7.65 billion people, are unhappy.
So what went wrong?
Well, I mean...
Where did it start?
Well, if you were born in Biafra, I mean, the odds are against you. But if you were born in the Netherlands, which a lot of you were, rightly or wrongly, you had a better chance, a better opportunity than the poor kid born in Biafra. Okay? What have you done with it, if anything? Most of you, I can just look. I wore my glasses. Normally, I like to be filmed without my glasses, but last time I didn't wear my glasses, so I couldn't see your faces. I've got my glasses on now, so I can see your faces. You know what I'm getting at. You have not used the opportunities, whereas the people in the third, fourth, fifth world countries use those opportunities to be all they can be. And money's not everything in the world, but money's the only thing anybody keeps track of. And so you can use that money that you make, as the Gates are doing, in trying to save the earth, save the world, and to do good. But it all starts, you have to be serious about it. Most of the people that are engaged in personal development, for example, aren't serious. They're just, it takes up 3 or 4 or 5 hours of their time a week, and so they're fiddle farting around and they're not taking it serious. If you want to take it serious, you know, Michael is a successful mentee of mine, and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for he putting on these kinds of events. But he got serious about it a number of years ago, and he's doing a lot of good. How many of you can say the same? How many of you can say that you're serious about it? How many of you can actually say that you're trying to be all you can be? Now, I won't insult you by asking you to raise your hand because you'll just lie.
Rule number 6, don't wait to learn stuff.
If we waited around, it's like engineers on an assembly line of car. The car would never come off the assembly line because the engineers always want to finger fart with it to make it this, make it better, etc. Yeah, I mean, these guys and the guy and the most successful guys on the Hall of Fame, if they waited around to learn how to do it, the QLA model with one moving part, a motivated seller, is just one tool that then you leverage off of that one tool to learn how to do a bunch of other things to get the job done. And then after you've been doing it for almost 50 years like I have, I mean, you have a whole toolbox. And as I said at the regular seminar, this is the beginning of you being the conductor of the orchestra. We're going to do this, we're going to use this, we're going to use this, and you're telling them what to do when you want them to do it. Remember, leadership is you having them do what you want to do, them to do when you want them to do it, not when they want to do it, because they will never be ready.
Rule number 7, use trauma to make you stronger.
In the school, I used to wear a dunce cap. They'd stand me in the corner, a dunce cap. You know, a cap that goes, they don't have dunce caps anymore because they're not politically correct. A big, like a big beanie hat, and they stand me in the corner for doing something bad. And then if I turn around, they'd put me in a closet like this. I couldn't get in the closet with a dunce cap, so they put me in the closet until my parents came to pick me up. I would shit my pants and piss my pants, and they wouldn't let me out of the closet. Can you imagine what would happen today if that happened to a kid in school? I should school the LA Unified School District for $1 billion because of the trauma I went through. But the trauma made me rich. Because my dad told me, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Now it's just the opposite. People commit suicide because they're unliked on Facebook. I can't relate to that. I'd go over to the house and punch the face in the father's, knock all his teeth out. And now again, that's why it's not reversible. We are through as a race, but you're going to die rich. Or you potentially have the ability to die rich. And I've been rich and I've been poor, and there's no comparison. But the world, is just I remember people picking me up from school. I have shit in my pants. Just imagine the trauma. But my father said, it's not what happens to you in life, son. It's how you react to what happens to you in life. Didn't kill you, did it? Machiavelli said, that's what does not kill you makes you stronger, right? Well, he didn't know Machiavelli, my dad. But it didn't kill me. I was embarrassed and I shit my pants because I was in the closet. I got in a lot of fights Did a lot, and maybe that's why I dropped the aquarium on that teacher of mine. Try to kill him. I got expelled 3 times, the last time from the entire school district. They didn't want me anywhere near that school district. And that's how we moved out to the valley, which then there was just wheat fields and shit. I got in trouble there. Well, you can find trouble if you want it, believe me. I am a living testament to that. But I used all those things to make me stronger.
Rule number 8, don't be a pleaser.
Unfortunately, the best way to show order and who's in charge when you buy a company is fire somebody the first day you take over. First day. Doesn't really matter who. They used to tease me that I used to go down the offices, and every 3rd office I'd fire. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. Maybe every 4th or 5th office. Didn't care. I don't believe in legacy knowledge in a company, especially today with the computers. 40 years ago, there was legacy. Some old fart knew how to do something, but not today. You can hire any dipshit out of university or out of a trade school or out of high school. You can teach them how to program. I mean, now for sure, there's no legacy. But because you're pleasers, you don't want to fire anybody. And you want to be liked. If you think when you buy a company that's 10,000 employees, you think those 10,000 people are going to like you, you're full of shit. They're going to be scared as whores in church because they've got mortgages. They've got children. They've got mother-in-laws. They've got to support. And they're afraid you're going to fire. And why would they be afraid you're going to fire them if they were good employees? Because they're not. They're worthless pieces of shit.
Rule number 9, build your self-esteem.
The most important thing is self-esteem. The people that we read about, the people that we admire, the Elon Musks, the Steve Jobs, the Warren Buffetts, etc., all have one thing in common. They have extremely high self-esteem. And of course, you've heard me say this before, self-esteem is built the first 7 or 8 years of life. And unfortunately, we're with our parents the first 7 or 8 years of life. Ergo, we don't have too much high self-esteem. But to build high self-esteem, and the way you build high self-esteem, if you're 25, 35, or 45, is to be around, surround yourself with other people that have high self-esteem. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And so you can reverse your childhood by who you associate with.
How do you do that?
Well, you find people that are where you want to be, but they're already there. You're 22 years old, you're 32, you're 41 years old, and there's a guy or a gal who's 45 years old who is where you want to be. They've accomplished a lot of things. If you're into, they're saving the world, they're using their money for good causes, go associate with those people. Be around those people. And they're easy to find, but they're not going to knock on your door. They're not going to come to your apartment or your flat and ask you, oh, can I help you? And again, the best tool I've ever seen, and it's like it was designed for this, is LinkedIn. It's the best social media tool there ever was for what we're discussing. And you can find these people. Now just remember, everybody that's on LinkedIn, all the, 20 million or whatever people that are on LinkedIn are all there for one reason. They're there because they want to do business, they want to meet people. Unlike some of the other social medias like Facebook or Twitter or, and I don't even know the names of the others, but I mean LinkedIn, they're there for a common purpose. They have a common bond, they have a common goal. They want to expand their horizons, and it's a great tool.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is outwork them all.
When I turned 16 in August the 10th, 1961, is that right? Yeah, 61, born 45, 61. I had a job as a box boy. They used to put groceries in bags and then carry the groceries out to the cars of the ladies, women. And then if they gave you a tip, a quarter or something, you thought all your birthdays came at once. And if you were a good-looking guy like I was, you got more than a quarter. 16. Those were the good old days. Pre-AIDS and all that. Anyway. About 5 years ago, because when I turned 65, I didn't apply for my Social Security insurance, or whatever they call it in America. I only just did it last year at 72. But when you turn to 65, they send you all kind of shit. And so I'm looking at, and it shows from the first paycheck I got in 1961, first month that I worked, I went to work at August the 10th on my 16th birthday, because you couldn't drive, you couldn't have a social security number in America. I don't know what it is now, but you couldn't have a social security number. So I got a social security number on my birthday, and I worked at a Vaughn's Market, Vaughn's, which is like a Ralph's, or it's like a shopping market where you buy food and shit. And I got paid $1.05 an hour. The first paycheck I got was for $241. So roughly speaking, I worked 240 hours from August the 10th through August. How many days in August? 30 or 31? Through 31. So in 21 days, I worked 240 hours. First job I ever had. And I think my take home was about $160 out of 240. And if you wanted to go home, you had a headache, I took your shift. You wanted to go home and f your old lady, I took your shift. They just called me with their shifts, hours. Why? Because when my dad retired from the LAPD after 28 years of being a cop, in those days, if you didn't take your day off or your days off, they paid you for them. So at the end of his 28-year career, he had 710 days off that he hadn't taken. 710. And if you do the maths, as they say in this country, I don't know why maths is plural in this country. I have no idea why that is. But if you do the maths, he never took a day off his entire 28-year career. So what kind of role model did I have? And what kind of role models do you have? From 1971 to 1997, I worked every day for 26 years, including the day I got married. Every single day, from 1971 to 1997, I didn't take one day off.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip from Dan that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. What will you do to build your self-esteem this week? Number 2, where do you need to stop being a pleaser? And number 3, what trauma did you have that will make you stronger? And if you made it this far in a video and you are committed to making a change, I wanna celebrate you. Give me a hashtag believe down in the comments as well.
In 25 years now, I've never seen a business school case from any of the B schools that showed owner finance. Never. And we all know owner finance has been around from, I say Cain and Abel and Moses, but a long time. I don't know, Cain, before, is it Cain that killed Abel?
Right.
Okay. Before he hit him upside the head, I don't know if they were doing a deal over some piece of property, but the point is that you have really, it's not just an extra tool, you have the tool, and in collapsing markets, owner finance is paramount because it's the thing that you really have control over. You may not be able to, banks change their covenants, they do this, do that, etc. But you can control the situation with owner finance because you bring a whole new spectrum to the investment continuum with owner finance. And 100%, and the only downside, as I said countless times now, the only downside with 100% owner finance is paying fees to lawyers and accountants and paying yourself a few shekels. And then, of course, then you refinance.
If you want 10 more rules from Dan Pena, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
The only real guarantee I can make is that if you don't keep swinging at the plate, you don't keep trying to hit it for 6, you don't keep lunging towards the goal line, you're never going to do it.